Hello, MGTOW. Hello, man. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about the dangers of going MGTOW, because there are dangers of going MGTOW. To think that such a large step in a man's life could not be dangerous would just be foolish. So, let's get into it. Now, what we're really looking at is the collapse of the man's value system, okay? Because we get our meaning from the people around us, from the ideas and how well we, get along within that system. We adopt the values of the group that we are in. And in a blue pill world, the main value system, whether you realize it or not, is worshiping women, is worshiping reproduction. It's a very important instinct that's being played out. And here's the thing. It's not just being played out in the humans. It's being played out in most all of the animal species. After food and survival, basic security, basic biological maintenance, reproduction becomes the next priority. And this seems to be true for most of the animals, and most of the insects, and most of the cellular life as well. Well, imagine that. So, it's not so complicated. Single-celled amoebas do it, and people do it too. So what's the danger there? Well, I think to the man who's gone MGTOW, I think he knows, I think he's experienced some of what the danger is. This is a journey, and we are at different places along this journey. There are men who are just getting out of dysfunctional relationships with crazy, entitled women that they thought were Disney princesses. This is part of the process that we're talking about. How did it happen? Why did it happen? Because the value system of the blue pill world is to worship women and to worship reproduction. And a critical thing to understand here for a human being, right? Like, I'm not talking to the dogs or to the monkeys right now. I'll talk to them later. It's a different message, right? They're not on YouTube as much. Sorry. The important distinction for man in following this instinct, and it's not as important for the monkeys, and it's not as important for the dogs, and it's really not important at all to the single cellular amoebas, is he aware of it? Is he thinking about it? Do you see the distinction? Why it doesn't matter so much for the dog, and certainly not at all for the single-celled amoeba. But for the man, this is the critical question. In following this instinct of reproduction, which comes down to essentially worshiping, the woman and her wants and her needs, is he thinking about it? Is he aware of it? Because if he's not, okay, he has just taken a man and reduced it down to the level of beneath an animal, down to an insect. We can forgive the insect. We can forgive the male spider for wandering into the nest of the black widow spider and being devoured by her. He can't think about it. He isn't aware of what's going on. But a man, he can think about it. He can be aware of it. So, to the younger man, the danger is that he's following his instinct. He's following his instincts, and he's entangled in the value system of a blue pill world, which is very natural, and that he makes these decisions, getting married, having kids with the wrong woman, which is essentially any woman nowadays, given this environment, and he's not aware of the trap and the situation that he's walking into. Again, we can forgive the insect. It really doesn't have a brain, and it's not going to be thinking about it very much anyway. But what about a man, right? He makes the wrong decision. He can potentially be regretting that decision for the next 50 years, or more, even more. Right, like he's 20 years old, he makes the wrong decision. 50 years or more, he could be regretting that decision. So it's an important decision. This is where MGTOW comes in, bringing this awareness to the man. It also helps for the man who's already made this mistake. At 20, now he's 40, 45, whatever, 35, whatever. And he's paying the price, for making that decision. And most all men will. Very few men will actually, it's a sacrificial role. The blue pill world of worshiping women and worshiping reproduction, the man plays a sacrificial role in that value system. Are there better and worse ways to navigate it? Sure, absolutely. But most men? Oh no, not at all. They're going to be consumed by that system. That's what that system is there for. Can you deal in that system? It'll help you if you're aware of what's going on in the system. It might as well be that you're playing a video game. And the only question is are you aware of the fact that you're playing a video game? Or are you so enthralled within the game that you've forgotten it's a game where you can make decisions up front? You can pause before you do something incredibly stupid without thinking. See, that's the great danger right there, is the not thinking. It's not so much that you can't do this or you can't do that, or you should do this or you shouldn't do that. No, that's not it. It's that you just need to be aware of what you're doing. Now, you don't have to doubt every little thing you do in life, but getting together with women, yeah, you should be real careful in that regard. Much more careful now than you should have been 20 years ago. The question that most men will be asking themselves is, can I deal in this system of, getting together with women and still protect myself and be aware of the dangers and the situation? And the answer is yes, of course. That's what we're here for. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We are changing the dynamics in the relationship between men and women. This value system, this blue pill world, it's not a bad world, okay? It is, understand that it's dominated. It's a gynocentric world. It's there to take care of the women and the children. And anything that goes against that is going to be considered evil, wrong, bad, unacceptable. This is why social justice is taking over. It's a female mindset. You don't want to see people suffer. You don't want to see people go hungry. It's a female mindset, as opposed to a male mindset, which would say, if you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't do the right things in life, you are destined to suffer. It's not something that we can relieve you of. You are responsible for your own decisions. And you can understand why the women don't want to bear that responsibility. For a large part, in many ways, given that, men are protectors and providers, the women don't bear the responsibility of these things. Women generally don't go to war. Not generally, they don't go to war. So, how can they make these decisions? Their world is geared towards raising children. That's their biological imperative. That's what they'll do without thinking, okay? And they will try to reshape the world in that image. And the weak men will go along with them as if that means that, they have access to the women. And in some cases, it does, especially if they're providing resources. But it's an unworthy sacrifice, right? It really is, the sacrificial male. But there's another way to look at it. There's another way to deal with it as a man, right? And that's what we're trying to teach here in MGTOW, set of ideas, philosophy, a way of looking at the world. You're a complete worthy individual in and of yourself. But here's the problem. When we leave a value system, we have nothing. We collapse. There's this great danger that our life has no meaning anymore. In other words, the value system is what gave our life meaning. We realize that the value system is false, that we can't worship the women, that it isn't even a viable strategy. In other words, the woman might get together with the man who adopts her worldview, but she's going to consume him. She's going to destroy him. It's not going to be a male-female relationship in the traditional sense. And I'm not arguing for traditionalism. We've moved past that and beyond that. But by giving up the traditional mindset, the men have to find a new mindset. And that's the MGTOW mindset. That's the MGTOW mind frame. Check out the MGTOW Mind Frame channel from J.B. Gunner. He actually has a few channels up, but you can find him. He's a great guy, a great content producer. So the danger in seeing that the value system, where the man derives his value from, is that he loses that support. And the danger is, of course, falling into nihilism, meaninglessness. Life has no purpose, at which point it's very hard to, get through. And the other danger is adopting a kind of ideological purity, a kind of authoritative mindset, a kind of military madness, a kind of crazy adherence to the rules. And you can understand this reaction because there's no value system for the man to derive meaning from. So he goes into these other unthinking automatic modes, which are, extreme. Hopefully the MGTOW message can get in there and say, no, you have value in and of yourself. You have been deluded. You are a free individual. And, there's great responsibility, but there's great potential with it as well. And it's understandable that the man wants to unthinkingly give himself to his first value system. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, there's a lot more to talk about on this subject, and we're going to talk about it, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Support the other MGTOW channels, and please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, everyone.